A double dip of Wednesday night basketball. That means we've got a lot to talk about here on Thursday afternoon.
Plus, Lax is getting ready for its season opener, and we'll tell you why Temple gymnastics coach has a unique way of recruiting his athletes.
A new anchor duo with an anchor debut to the one from my left.
And I'm Hayden Bandel, live at Pearson McGonigal Hall. Later in the show, I'll talk to you about the different ways college gymnastics coaches go about their recruiting. OwlSports Update is live and it starts right now.
A mess in Texas. Men's basketball dropped a one-point game at SMU late Wednesday night, 72-71. Temple trailed 19-2 in the opening minutes, crawled back into this one to actually take the lead at different times in the second half, but couldn't hold on. Khalif Battle led the way with 27. This is a bad loss against a Mustangs team well below 500. For Temple, the Owls are now 8-4 in the American, and this is just part of the bad news. Hello everyone and welcome to OwlSports Update. Alongside Matt Rainier, I'm Meg Doyle.
It has been a week to forget for men's basketball, not just to the loss to SMU, but there's another Texas team as well. Let's go back in time to Sunday. That rematch versus Houston didn't go as planned. 10,000 plus on hand, a whiteout game between the top two seeds so far in the AAC, and it doesn't take long for the Cougars to get things going. Senior guard Marcus Sasser on the outside, draining the three to get the Cougars on the board. Second half of action underway, and Temple's looking to get back into the game. Hasir Miller dishes the rock to Zach Hicks, missing his first attempt, but then tips it in off the glass for his first of his 11 points. Temple still searching for an answer on offense. Damian Dunn with the ball way outside. He's going to fire from deep, but can't connect, finishing with only 9 points in the game. Houston, on the other hand, well, they just seem to have all the answers on offense. Emmanuel Sharp all alone on the right-hand side. He's going to get the ball dished to him in the corner, firing from wide open range to extend their lead to 13. Overall, the Cougars shot 72% from the floor in the second half, and that ends at Houston 81, Temple 65.
What I try to get the guys to understand is a lot of the mistakes that we made in the first half, although we had a lead, that lead could have been extended. And maybe in those instances you buy yourself a little bit more time. But that's a really good team. I feel like we're a good team. And these are learning lessons for us where we got to figure out a way to stay focused and play hard for 40 minutes.
The Liacouras Center was sold out for the first time since 2020. The atmosphere was great. The first 20 minutes were great. But after halftime, the Owls got a good look at why Houston is one of the favorites to win a national title come April. OwlSports Update's Megan Wiley has the story from the Liacouras Center.
It's that old saying, the sequel is never as good as the original.
Yeah, we wasn't on our A game when it came to that.
Just 2 weeks ago, the Owls stunned the Cougars, not only beating the Cougars, but doing it on their own home court. And for the first 20 minutes, the Owls looked like they might do it again, leading by 4 at the half thanks to 9 three-point buckets. But Houston woke up at halftime, and for the final 20 minutes of the game, the Owls got to see why the Cougars are one of the top teams in the country. Houston came out and scored the first 13 points of the second half, and Temple was playing catch-up for the first time this season against the AAC's top team.
If guys made a mistake, missed a shot, just drop their head, and next play, just keep playing.
Battle did keep the Owls in this game with a team-high 24, but the Owls couldn't get the stops they needed down the stretch to get back into this one.
I mean, I think they're a good team, but I feel like we're just as good, if not better.
The loss ends Temple's 4-game win streak, but at 8-3 in conference, Temple is still in a good place as the AAC postseason tournament draws close. From the Leah Center, I'm Megan Wiley, OwlSports Update.
It doesn't get any easier for the Owls. On the heels of this 2-game slide, they've got Memphis Sunday. The Tigers are 18-6 overall this season.
The women's basketball team traveled down to Greenville, North Carolina, but the trip didn't go as planned. The Pirates took down the Owls 67-52. The Owls hung in this one through 3 quarters, but they were outscored 25-7 in the 4th and the final quarter. Aaliyah Nelson led the Owls with 12 points and 3 rebounds, and ECU's Amia Joyner finished with 23 points. The Owls will return to the Leah Center this weekend to host the Cincinnati Bearcats. Aeneas Piper is one of the key players for the Owls this season, scoring 4 points and grabbing 4 rebounds in just 16 minutes of action against ECU. The sophomore forward traveled over 3,500 miles from her home in France to pursue her collegiate basketball career. OwlSports Update's Eric Mawhinney takes a deeper dive into her journey to the States.
Aeneas Piper definitely took the road less traveled, making her way from Paris, France to Philadelphia.
Born and raised in France, I started playing basketball when I was 4, and I did all my education there, like until the end of high school. And then I always wanted to come to college in this country.
Aeneas made her first stop at Northwest Florida State, where her team won a JUCO state title. Aeneas played all 26 games and averaged 7 points. At Temple, she's 4th on the team in minutes played and has recently cracked the starting lineup. Being a first-year D1 transfer from another country could be such a huge challenge for someone that's only a sophomore, but Aeneas Piper is embracing the change as a leader on and off the court.
She contributes any way we need her because she's so skilled. If we need rebounds, she'll get rebounds. If we need her to score, she'll score. That's the beauty of what her dimension of her game is. She's great off the court. She's got a quiet demeanor, but she's fun to be around.
Aeneas comes from a basketball family. Her father played college ball in the U.S. and then professionally overseas. Her mom and sister also played professionally in Europe.
My goal is to play pro. I don't know if I'm going to stay in the U.S. or if I will go overseas or go back to France. I don't know that, but I want to play pro.
Until then, Aeneas has 2 more years after the season to get used to life in Philly, 4,000 miles from home. Eric Mawhinney, OwlSports Update.
Aeneas and the Owls will return to the court on Saturday as they get set to take on the Cincinnati Bearcats at the Leah Center at 2 p.m. You can follow along with us on Twitter for in-game updates at OwlSports Update.
As we look at our updated AAC standings, the news is not very good on either side of your screen. On the left, for the women, the Owls have fallen below 500 and now sit in 7th place in the AAC. And the men's team is also falling. Remember, the Owls were looking at the top spot if they had beaten Houston on Sunday. But now, after their last 2 losses, they've fallen to 4th place in a crowded AAC field. It's now time for our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll take a look at the lacrosse team's preseason win against Lehigh, along with one outstanding player who has grabbed preseason All-American honors.
Plus, we'll introduce our new segment, Twitter Talk with M&M. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. This past Sunday, the lacrosse team kicked off its season in an exhibition game against Lehigh at home. Lehigh starts off strong with a goal from number 19, Cassie Mart, but Temple is quick to respond. Katie Shallow intercepts the pass and finds a path while slinging it into the back of the net. The Owls don't stop there as Mackenzie Roth finds the ball and spins it around the goal for a beautiful finish. Back with the ball, Lehigh finally gets a chance to respond. Katia Carnival runs through an open path and finds the net. Riley McGowan adds another to the scoreboard for Temple as the Owls take the win over the Mountain Hawks 19-11.
Belle Mastro-Pietro led the way for the Owls in this win with 5 goals. Since coming to Temple, she's been one of the most dominant players across all of Temple athletics, and she's been the centerpiece in her senior year for Coach Bonnie Rosen's squad.
107 goals, preseason conference midfielder of the year, and second team preseason All-American. Those are just some of the many accolades earned by Belle Mastro-Pietro.
You know, it's exactly the role model you want. She is the person that works hard all the time.
And as a senior, this could be Belle's last year at Temple, and she has some unfinished business to take care of, getting back to the NCAA tournament for the second time in her career.
I think that, we play for each other, and I think it's a really big motivational factor for us, again, everyday practice, just to get better every day and push each other.
In the 2 years before Belle's arrival, Temple was 4 games below 500. Since her arrival, the team is 13 games above 500.
She's just very much like an inspiration, I guess you can say. It just makes you want to be better because you want to strive to be a player like her.
She's been someone that I've looked up to ever since the beginning. She is constantly pushing me to be a better leader and to just work harder on the field as well.
The impact that Belle has had on both the program and her teammates has been undeniable, and she's looking to leave an even more lasting impact in what may be her final season here on North Broad.
I think I would love to be remembered just as someone who pushed their teammates every day, wanted to make everyone around them better.
Belle's goal to push her teammates and her need to move this program in a winning direction was on full display last Saturday in her 5-goal game versus Lehigh. It's starting to prove that she's well deserving of all of these preseason honors.
After their dominant performance versus Lehigh, Belle and the Owls will look to continue climbing as they get set for their season opener against Vermont on Friday at 3 p.m.
It's now time for this new duo's new segment, Twitter Talk with N and M. Each week, we'll be posting a poll on our Twitter where you guys will choose which player of the week you think it best to focus on. For week 1, we'll start with our own picks.
Now, for my first Twitter Talk pick, I'm going to a player that we've talked about a lot here today, but I've got to put the spotlight on her one more time. Belle Mastro-Pietro led the way for the Owls. The preseason All-American led her team with 5 goals on the afternoon against Lehigh. Her first one coming off a penalty shot here late in the second quarter. Here she is again with the ball, drawing in the defender from the outside, looks for the lane, finds it, races up the middle, and fires on net for her second goal of the game. She's able to score in just about any way she wants to. There's not much a defense can do to stop her, including off of an assist. Mackenzie Roth brings it from behind the net, looks, gives it off to Belle, who fires on net once again to score her 3rd of the afternoon. And she would get in one last time in the final ticks of the 4th quarter. Here she is once again. So many bodies in front of the net. Still looks, fires, and gets it in. I don't know how she got the shot. This many people in front of the net. Doesn't seem possible, but regardless, what an outstanding response to start the season with.
Absolutely. And while speaking of starting the season off strong, I'm going with Jameel Reynolds, who played his first game back after missing 10 due to a thumb injury. He leads the Owls in rebounding with 6 against Houston. Look here, the ball bounces off the rim right into Jameel's hands to secure the rebound. Watch now, Reynolds denies a basket from Houston, and the fans go crazy. Yet again, Houston is finding the basket for a 3-pointer, but Reynolds is right there for that rebound. One more time, this guy is 6'11", 280 pounds, and his health is going to be a big deal for Temple down the stretch.
It certainly will for the Owls, but that's going to do it for this edition of Twitter Talk. But from now on, the players we analyze will be decided by you, the viewers. Follow us on Twitter at Matt Rainier and at MegDoyle8, where we'll be putting out polls before each show, where you at home get to vote on which players will be the subject of our next Twitter Talk. It's time to take our final break of the show.
When we come back, we'll take a look at club gymnastics for high school students and how that impacts Temple's varsity team. OwlSports Update will be back in 90 seconds.
Welcome back to OwlSports Update. Most collegiate athletic programs recruit their players from high school teams. Temple Gymnastics, on the other hand, has a different route in finding its scholarship athletes. OwlSports Update's Hayden Bandel is live at Pearson McGonigal Hall to tell us more. Hey, Hayden.
Thanks, Matt. Earlier this week, Temple head coach Josh Nielsen signed his 7th recruit from the 2023 high school class. But Nielsen doesn't go to the high schools to do his recruiting. His path is different from most other sports. Gymnastics is run like almost any other collegiate sport, but its athletes are generally much different. These competitors at Temple weren't recruited from their high schools, but from their club teams.
High school gymnastics it used to be really big. It's just kind of died off because the club programs have taken over.
The number of high school gymnastics teams across the country dropped from 1,800 in 1971 to less than 200 in the year 2001. This leaves head coach Josh Nielsen recruiting his top athletes at the club level. These club programs are more popular in some areas. For example, Temple has 9 of its 23 gymnasts from Region 8, which includes states like Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina.
We have representation from all over the country, so it's hard to say one particular club. We seem to do really well in the South. We also have a lot of Region 6 and 7, which is kind of our area.
2 of those Region 7 gymnasts are Captain Mackenzie Aresta and freshman Amanda Sherman. Both went to the same high school, but competed for different club programs.
We were at our different clubs for different reasons, and it's not really like a rivalry with clubs as much, because in club gymnastics, it's more individualized rather than like a team like it is here.
But it doesn't change anything like at club competitions with like if we say hi to each other or not, because we're obviously all still friends.
Coach Nielsen said that commitment was the main difference between club gymnastics and high school gymnastics. He was a club coach himself for 6 years before becoming a collegiate coach. He is now in his 18th season, where he has only had 3 high school recruits, with the last one coming over a decade ago. Both Aresta and Sherman are level 10 gymnasts, the highest placement you can achieve in USA Gymnastics.
Thanks, Hayden. Now that's all the time we have for this week.
For the entire OwlSports Update crew, she's Meg Doyle, I'm Matt Ranier. Wherever you may be watching, thank you so much and have a great rest of your weekend.